Aloha! This is part 2 of the Analyze Video Visualizing Data for edTPA video tutorial series. In the first section, we talked about preparing data. In this video, we're going to talk about data analysis. You should already have your spreadsheet prepared with numbers put in each of the different cells. In this video, we're going to talk specifically about the different functions you can use in order to analyze your data. We're going to review the autofill that you can also use when you're using the functions button, and then we're going to also practice sorting our data. So from last time, we had actually developed student numbers and question numbers, and so now we need to figure out what we want to do with them. First thing we want to do is get a total for each of the students for the overall assessment so that we can actually get some averages. You might already have this information, but putting it in a spreadsheet will allow you to then create tables and charts. So we are going to get the sum of each of the students' assessment total scores. And so I just did function sum. So what that indicates is that it's going to put in the equation for the sum, and then I've highlighted the cells for one whole student for student 1, and then I've put it in there, and by doing that, the function automatically indicates that the student got an 8. Now, similar to what we did when we did autofill for question 1 through 8 and student 1 through 15, you can also use the autofill function here using the equation all the way down, and you will notice that it sums up each row because that's how I highlighted it for the first one. We're going to do the same thing for question proficiency. All that means is I would like to know how students did overall as a group on each question. So I want to know how many students actually were able to answer question 1 correctly. So I'm going to do the same function again. I'm going to come over to this function button. I'm going to say sum, and then I'm going to highlight the entire column. So now again, it's just going to add up all the cells between B2 and B16. And the answer is 8. Again, I'm going to autofill left to right, and it indicates that the greatest proficiency was on question 3 and the lowest proficiency was on question 6. An additional function that I would like to use is the auto average. I'd like to know what the average score was on this. It's a basic statistic that kind of is an indicator of your performance as a teacher as well as your students' performance overall. So instead of saying sum this time, I said average, highlighting the entire column. And the average score on this assessment was 3.73. So not great out of 8 points. One final thing that you might want to do is organize your students organize the scores based on student performance. One way to do that would be go to data, and you want to sort. Oh, I actually have to highlight a cell. Data sort. Sorting by the totals. Sort by the range, and column J is the total range, and so I'd like to sort all the students based on that. That didn't actually work the way I wanted it to. So data. I want to highlight the entire section. Apologize here. Data, sort range. Okay, I'm going to go by column J, sort. Sorry for that confusion. And all that did was organize the totals from least to greatest, and that'll come into play when we do play around with some of the analysis features. But it quite easily it just shows that there are 4 students that got 2, 4 students that got 3, 2 students that got 4, 4 students that got 5, and only 1 student that got an 8. Okay. So in review, all we've done in this section is actually done some basic sum equations across all columns and all rows. We ran a basic statistics, which was an average. We did that in this square right here. And then we sorted the data from the least number of questions that were correct to the greatest number of questions that were correct.